Good morning and welcome back. This video is being made by request of a friend of mine that's having some problems with the wiring in his home, and he's got a circuit that's gone partially dead. So today we're going to make a series of 2 or 3 videos to explain how to troubleshoot and replace a damaged receptacle that may be causing other receptacles or lights in the house not to work. So with that, we'll get started. This is CJ Haywire here, and for today's illustration we're going to use my barn. So we'll say, for example, this receptacle that we're showing in the picture is bad, and we don't know it's bad yet, but for the example we'll pretend that it's bad. As you can see by the way the wires are being routed, even though this barn was built before I bought it and the wiring wasn't installed exactly to code, because these wires are supposed to drop 12 inches from the receptacle before they turn and go sideways through the wall. They didn't do that here, so it's kind of hard to see. But you'll see the wire that's entering from the right side of the screen goes into the bottom of this outlet box, and then another wire comes out of this outlet box and continues on to the left to feed another outlet that's further down the wall. And the wire coming from the right is coming from a receptacle that's ahead of it in the wall this way. So that's what they call a daisy chain. So one outlet feeds another, and that one feeds the one beyond it, and that one feeds the one beyond it, and so on. So if one in the middle of the chain fails, chances are it's going to affect other ones that are further down the chain in the circuit. They're not always necessarily in a straight line. Sometimes they can be fed and then split and go 2 different ways from a certain box, in which case there'll be 3 pieces of wire in the box and not just 2. So to find out what's going on, we're going to have to take this thing apart and look inside, and we'll do that in just a moment. The first thing we want to do before we take this thing apart is to make sure that the circuit's turned off. So we'll find something that we can use to make sure that the circuit's not working, something that you can use that will light up, or you can tell that the circuit is off by looking and making sure some kind of item is not working. So we'll take a moment and go turn that circuit breaker off. And here we are at the breaker panel. Since I already know exactly what my breaker assignments are, I know what breaker it is, but you can always look at the legend on your panel, and if somebody filled the legend out correctly, it should give you a clue as to which breaker you're on. And in this case, we want this one. So we turn the breaker off, and the next thing we need to do is to go verify that that circuit is off. So now we come back to the item that we put in there to test it, and sure enough, it's not lighting up anymore. So we'll take that out of the way. And the next thing we need to do is to take this thing apart and actually look inside. So the first thing we'll do is we'll take the cover plate off. That aside, and then we're going to take this receptacle out of the box by taking its mounting screws loose and drawing the receptacle out of the box. So I'm going to set the camera down for a moment while I do that. Now that we have the receptacle out of the box, we can actually see what's in there. And here you can see the way most standard receptacles are wired. In this case, there's actually two wires in this box. So you'll see the ground wire, which is this bare copper one that goes on to the ground terminal of the receptacle, which is the little green screw that's off by itself. And on each side of the receptacle you'll find two white wires on one side and two black wires on the other side. And if you'll take note, the screw terminals that they're mounted to are gold on the black side and silver on the white side. And since we're actually just pretending with this one, there's actually nothing wrong with it. But in the next video I'm going to show you, we'll look at some reasons why one of these may not work. So that's how you get them apart to inspect them. And you can, now that you have the circuit turned off, you can take apart all the ones that are suspect and inspect them by taking them out and looking at them. You don't have to take the wires off, but you can take them out and at least look at them to check for some signs of damage. So with that, we'll conclude this video and pick up the lesson in the next video. Thank you.